Marcus Reed wiped the sweat from his forehead as he guided his hoverbike through the dense forest trails of Kepler 4 to be. The frontier colony world was quiet today, almost too quiet. As a scout for the outer settlements, he knew when something was wrong. The birds had stopped singing an hour ago, and now even the wind seemed to hold its breath. A thunderous crash shattered the silence. Trees splintered and fell in the distance, followed by a pillar of smoke rising above the canopy. Marcus gunned his engine, racing toward the disturbance. His heart pounded as he imagined what could cause such destruction. Meteor? Crashed transport? Something worse? When he reached the impact site, his breath caught in his throat. A sleek silver craft, unlike anything in human design, lay twisted among the fallen trees. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly shimmer, and strange symbols glowed faintly along its surface. This was no human ship. Steam hissed from ruptured conduits as Marcus approached cautiously. His hand instinctively moved to the plasma pistol at his hip, but something made him hesitate. A soft sound drifted from the wreckage. Not mechanical, but organic. Someone was alive in there. Marcus climbed over twisted metal and found an opening. In the hall, inside, emergency lighting cast everything in an eerie blue glow. Advanced technology surrounded him, sleek and beautiful in ways human engineering had never achieved. But his attention focused on a single figure slumped against the far wall. She was humanoid, but clearly not human. Her skin held a pale luminescence. Like moonlight on water, its silver blue hair cascaded over her shoulders, and delicate features marked her face. Most striking were her eyes, a deep violet that seemed to hold starlight. She wore form-fitting clothing that appeared both elegant and practical. Blood seeped from a gash on her temple. Her breathing was shallow. Marcus knelt beside her, his training as a frontier medic kicking in. He checked her pulse, finding it steady but weak. Her skin was surprisingly warm to the touch. Her eyes fluttered open, focusing on him with effort. Fear flickered across her features before giving way to confusion. She spoke in a melodic language he didn't recognize, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Easy," Marcus said softly, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. "You're hurt. I want to help." She studied his face intently, as if searching for something. When she spoke again, it was in accented but clear English. "You are human." Marcus nodded. "My name is Marcus. Your ship crashed. Can you move?" "Nisa," she whispered, touching her injured head. "I am Nisa. They were chasing me." Her eyes widened with sudden panic. "They cannot find me here. Please, you must help me hide." Without hesitation, Marcus slipped his arms under her, lifting her carefully. She was lighter than expected, her body fitting naturally against his chest. Something electric passed between them at the contact, a connection he couldn't explain. "My cabin isn't far," he said. "You'll be safe there." As he carried her through the forest, Nisa's head rested against his shoulder. But, despite being unconscious, she seemed to relax in his arms. Marcus felt a protective instinct surge through him, stronger than anything he'd ever experienced. This beautiful, mysterious woman had literally fallen from the stars into his world. And somehow, he knew his life would never be the same. The hoverbike struggled with the extra weight. But Marcus managed to reach his remote cabin as darkness fell. Tomorrow he would have questions. Tonight, he had only one priority: keeping Nisa safe. Whatever she was running from, whatever dangers followed her across the stars, he would stand between her and harm. It was a promise he made without words, sealed by starlight and the strange pull he felt toward this alien woman who had changed everything. Healing under strange skies, dawn broke softly over the forest as Marcus sat beside Nisa's bedside, watching her sleep. He'd cleaned and bandaged her wounds, set up monitoring equipment, and done everything his medical training allowed. Her breathing had grown stronger through the night, and color had returned to her luminescent skin. She stirred as morning light filtered through the cabin windows, her violet eyes opening to meet his. For a moment, confusion clouded her features before memory returned. She tried to sit up quickly, wincing at the movement. "Careful," Marcus said, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "You have a concussion? Take it slow." Nisa's gaze swept the rustic cabin, taking in the wooden walls, simple furniture, and primitive technology by her standards. "This is your home?" "It's basic, but it's safe," Marcus replied, offering her a cup of water. "How are you feeling?" She accepted the cup, their fingers brushing as she took it. That same electric sensation passed between them, making both pause. "Better, thanks to you." Her accent made each word musical. "I owe you my life, Marcus Reed. You know my full name?" A slight smile played at her lips. "I accessed your colony's database while you slept. I needed to know if I could trust you." Her expression grew serious. "What I found surprised me. Not just a scout. You're a decorated soldier, a healer, an engineer, a man who has saved many lives." Marcus felt heat rise in his cheeks. "I'm just doing my job." "No," Nisa said firmly. "You chose to help a stranger, an alien. Many of your kind would have called your authorities, turned me over to your government. But you brought me to your home, tended my wounds, asked for nothing in return. This is not just a job." Their eyes met and held. Marcus found himself drowning. In those violet depths, seeing intelligence, kindness, and something else he dared not name. "Tell me about them," he said quietly. "The ones chasing you." Nisa's grip tightened on the cup. "My name is Princess Nisa Velta of the Etherian Collective. I was to be married to Supreme Chancellor Vexther of the Dominion Alliance. A political union to prevent war between our peoples. But you ran." "Vexther is a monster," she whispered. "He conquers worlds, enslaves populations, destroys anything beautiful or free. I could not, would not become his bride and legitimize his rule. She looked out the window at the peaceful forest, so I stole a ship and fled. I've been running for weeks." Marcus reached out instinctively, covering her hand with his. "You're brave or foolish." But she didn't pull away from his touch. "They will find me eventually. Vexther's hunters are relentless. Then we'll be ready for them." Nisa's eyes widened. Marcus, you don't understand what you're offering. These are not simple bounty hunters. They command advanced weapons, battle cruisers. Your entire colony could be destroyed." Marcus squeezed her hand gently. "Let me worry about that. Right now, you need to rest and heal." Over the following days, Marcus tended to Nisa with gentle care. He cooked human food she found surprisingly delicious, shared stories of Earth and the colonies, taught her to appreciate simple pleasures like morning coffee and sunset walks. In return, she told him of distant worlds, of civilizations among the stars, of beauty and wonders beyond imagination. They talked for hours, sharing dreams and fears. Marcus learned that despite her royal upbringing, Nisa longed for freedom and simple joys. She learned that despite his rugged exterior, Marcus was a poet at heart, someone who saw beauty in wild places and found meaning in protecting others. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Nisa reached out to touch a scar on Marcus's arm. "How did you get this?" "Defending a mining station from raiders," he said, acutely aware of her gentle fingers tracing the old wound. "Took a plasma burn, but we saved 300 colonists." "You always put others first." Her touch sent shivers through him. "Do you ever do anything for yourself?" Marcus looked into her eyes, seeing the same longing he felt reflected there. "I'm starting to," he whispered. Their faces drew closer, the firelight dancing across her luminous skin. The kiss was inevitable, tender at first, then deeper as barriers fell away. When they finally parted, both were breathing hard. "Marcus," Nisa whispered against his lips. "We're from different worlds. This is impossible." "Nothing's impossible," he replied, pulling her closer. "Sometimes the best things in life fall from the sky when you least expect them." 3 days of perfect peace shattered when Marcus's early warning sensors screamed to life. He jolted awake in the pre-dawn darkness, Nisa stirring beside him in the bed they'd begun sharing. The past nights had brought them closer than either thought possible, their connection deepening beyond mere attraction into something profound and transformative. "They found me," Nisa whispered, reading the displays with growing dread. 3 massive ships had entered the system. Their energy signatures unlike anything in human databases. Marcus was already moving, pulling on clothes and checking weapons. How long do we have? Minutes? Maybe less. Nisa rose gracefully, her night clothes shifting into what appeared to be armor with alien technology. Marcus couldn't fathom. Marcus, please, run. Hide in your deepest wilderness. I'll lead them away like hell. Marcus grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. We're in this together now, and I'm not losing you. Before she could protest, the cabin's windows exploded inward. Dark figures poured through the breach, moving with inhuman speed and precision. The Dominion hunters had arrived. Marcus dove, tackling Nissa to the floor as energy beams scorched the air where they'd stood. His plasma rifle came up, returning fire as they scrambled for cover behind overturned furniture. The hunters were tall, lean beings in midnight black armor, their faces hidden behind angular masks. Princess Nissa Veltarwan spoke in a voice like grinding metal. By order of Supreme Chancellor Vexther, you will return to fulfill your destiny. Resistance will result in the termination of this primitive world. I'd rather die free than live as his slave, Nissa snarled, her own weapon appearing in her. Hands sleek and deadly, the battle erupted in earnest. Marcus quickly realized these weren't ordinary soldiers, but elite warriors with technology far beyond human capability. Their armor absorbed his plasma shots, their weapons carved through his cover like paper. Only his knowledge of the cabin's layout and pure determination kept them alive. The cellar, he shouted to Nissa, laying down covering fire. There's a tunnel. They fought their way downstairs, Marcus's tactical training evident in every move. He used improvised explosives to collapse sections of ceiling, buying precious seconds. Nissa moved like liquid death beside him, her alien grace making human combat techniques look clumsy by comparison. In the cellar, Marcus triggered a hidden panel revealing an escape tunnel he'd dug for emergencies. I'll seal it behind us, he said, setting charges. Marcus? No. Nissa grabbed his arm. The explosion will bring the whole cabin down. You'll be trapped. I'll find another way out. Go. He kissed her fiercely, pouring all his emotions into the contact. I love you, Nissa. Whatever happens, remember that. I love you too, she whispered, tears flowing freely. That's why I won't leave you. Together, they made their stand. Marcus's human ingenuity, combined with Nissa's advanced technology, created a deadly partnership. He rigged motion sensors to trigger hidden weapons, turned household items into explosives, used every trick learned in years of frontier warfare. She provided covering fire with weapons that carved through hunter armor, her alien combat skills keeping them alive against impossible odds, but more hunters kept coming. The cabin became a war zone, walls cratered by energy weapons, furniture reduced to splinters. Marcus bled from a dozen wounds, his ammunition running low. Nissa's armor flickered, its power systems failing. The main ship is landing, she reported, checking her sensors. Vexther himself comes for me. Through the shattered windows, they saw a craft the size of a building settling into the forest clearing. Ramps lowered, disgorging dozens more hunters, and a figure that made Nissa's blood freeze. Supreme Chancellor Vexther was massive, even by his species standards, his armor black as space and inscribed with the symbols of conquered worlds. Hiss. Face was a nightmare of scarred flesh and cold intelligence, eyes like dying stars. Power radiated from him, the authority of one who had crushed countless civilizations. My bride awaits, his voice boomed across the battlefield. How touching that she found a pet to die with her. Human, you have fought well. I offer you a quick death in exchange for surrender. Marcus stepped protectively in front of Nissa, his battered rifle steady in his hands.
How'd our offer go to?
Hell! Vexther's laughter was the sound of breaking bones. Musing. Very well, we do this the entertaining way. Vexther stepped forward, and the very air seemed to darken around him. The Supreme Chancellor's presence was oppressive, like a black hole that devoured light and hope. Lesser hunters flanked him, their weapons trained on the cabin's ruins where Marcus and Nissa made their desperate stand. Princess Vexter called, his voice carrying impossible authority. "End this charade. Your human pet has shown admirable courage, but this farce ends now. Come willingly, and I will grant his species a swift extinction rather than the prolonged agony I had planned." Marcus felt Nissa tense beside him, her weapon wavering. He could see the terrible conflict in her violet eyes, the weight of billions, of lives balanced against their newfound love. "Don't," he whispered. "Don't you dare sacrifice yourself for us. Humanity can take care of itself." "You don't understand," Nissa replied, her voice breaking. "The Dominion has fleets that could glass your entire world. Every colony, every settlement, will make examples of your people to ensure no one else defies him, and we make them pay dearly for the privilege." Marcus checked his remaining ammunition, counting bullets like prayers. "Your move, princess. But know this. Whatever you choose, I'm with you until the end." Nissa's hand found his, their fingers intertwining. In that touch, Marcus felt her decision crystallize. The royal training, the diplomatic conditioning, the lifetime of duty, all of it fell away before one simple truth. She would not trade love for fear. "My answer remains the same, Vexter," she called out, her voice ringing clear across the battlefield. "I will never be your bride. And if you want to destroy humanity, you'll have to go through me first." The Chancellor's roar shook the very ground. "So be it. Kill them all. Make it slow." The final battle erupted with devastating fury. Hunter squads advanced from all sides, their energy weapons turning the forest into an inferno. Marcus's human tactics proved surprisingly effective. He'd studied the enemy during their first assault. Noting weaknesses in their formations, predictable patterns in their movement. "Left flank, blind spot behind that fallen tree," he shouted to Nissa, laying down suppressing fire. His bullets couldn't penetrate their armor, but they could distract, force reactions, create openings for Nissa's superior weapons. She moved like lightning incarnate, her alien grace making her untouchable. Where Marcus relied on strategy and determination, Nissa brought raw skill and advanced technology. Together, they carved through Hunter ranks with devastating efficiency. But Vexter himself was another matter entirely. The Chancellor strode through the battle like an unstoppable force, his personal shields deflecting everything they threw at him. When he finally engaged them directly, Marcus understood why entire civilizations bowed before this monster. Vexter. First blow sent Marcus flying, his rifle shattered, ribs cracked. The second would have killed him if Nissa hadn't intervened, her blade meeting the Chancellor's in a shower of sparks. They fought with impossible speed, alien combat techniques. Beyond Marcus's ability to follow, "She is magnificent," Vexter admitted, pressing his attack. "Such fire will be ... enjoyable to break." "Tell me, princess, was your human worth abandoning your duty? Worth the death of worlds?" "He's worth everything," Nissa snarled, her counterattack, driving the Chancellor back a step. "He showed me what love actually means, not the political arrangement you call marriage." Marcus struggled to his feet, blood streaming from multiple wounds. His weapons were gone, his body failing, but his mind still worked. He'd noticed something during the fight. Vex's armor had a power coupling exposed on the left side, probably damaged during his ship's landing. "Nissa," he called, his left shoulder, "there's a vulnerability." She saw it instantly, adjusting her attack pattern. But Vexter was no fool. He'd survived countless battles through cunning as much as strength. His next move was a feint, drawing Nissa into overextension, then striking with crushing force. Nissa's cry of pain tore at Marcus's heart. She fell, her weapon skittering across the ground, armor cracked and sparking. Vexter stood over her, triumph radiating from his scarred features. "And so ends the rebellion of Princess Nissa Veltar," he pronounced. "Your execution will be broadcast across 1,000 worlds as an example of what happens to those who defy the Dominion." But Marcus Reed had one last card to play. He'd been a demolitions expert before becoming a scout. And the explosive charges he'd planted earlier weren't just in the cabin. They were throughout the forest, hidden in trees, buried in clearings, a network designed to channel and amplify The destruction. "Hey, Vexter," Marcus called, pulling himself upright through sheer will. "You know what humans are really good at?" The Chancellor turned, amused. "Enlighten me, insect." Marcus smiled, blood on his lips, thumb hovering over a detonator he'd kept hidden. "We're really, really good at making things explode." The forest erupted. Not just where they stood, but in a carefully orchestrated sequence that channeled the explosion inward, focusing all that destructive force into a concentrated blast. Marcus had turned the entire clearing into one massive shaped charge. Vexter S shields held against the initial blast, but the secondary explosions overwhelmed even his advanced defenses. The Chancellor's roar of rage became a scream of pain. As his armor cracked, systems failing under the assault, Marcus used the chaos to reach Nissa, gathering her in his arms as debris rained down around them. "Time to go, Princess." The explosion had created more than destruction, it had created opportunity. While Vexter's forces regrouped and medical teams attended to their wounded Chancellor, Marcus carried Nissa through smoke and flames toward the one intact structure, remaining the alien hunter ship he'd spotted during the battle. "Can you fly that thing?" he asked, setting her gently in the pilot's chair. Her injuries were serious but not fatal, and her natural healing abilities were already working to repair the damage. Nissa's hands moved over the control surfaces, alien technology responding to her touch. "It's a standard hunter-class vessel. I can manage it." She looked at him with concern. "But Marcus, you're badly hurt. You need medical attention." "I'll live." He strapped himself into the co-pilot's seat, marveling at the advanced displays surrounding them. "Question is, where do we go from here?" Through the ship's sensors, they watched Vexter being loaded onto a medical transport, his armor blackened and cracked. The Chancellor would survive. Creatures like him were too stubborn to die easily, but he'd been hurt, humiliated, forced to retreat. That would buy them time, but not much. "There are free worlds beyond the Dominion's reach," Nissa said, initiating launch sequences. "Places where we could disappear, start over." She hesitated, her violet eyes meeting his. "But Marcus, I'm asking you to leave everything. Your world, your people, your entire life is what we have worth that sacrifice." Marcus reached out, cupping her luminous face in his scarred hands. The question she asked had no easy answer. Earth was his home, humanity his species. Everything he'd ever known or loved was here. But as he looked into her eyes, he realized that wasn't entirely true anymore. "Nissa," he said quietly, "I've spent my whole life protecting people, serving others, putting duty first. For the first time, I'm choosing something for myself. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us." She leaned into his touch, tears flowing freely. "I love you, Marcus Reed. More than duty, more than honor, more than life itself. I love you too, Princess." "Nissa Veltar," he smiled, some of his old humor returning despite everything. "Though I might need some time to get used to calling you Your Highness." "Just Nissa?" She laughed through her tears. "The princess died in that forest. What rises from those ashes is just a woman in love with an extraordinary man." The ship lifted off smoothly, its advanced engines carrying them away from the burning forest where their old lives had ended. Below, human emergency services were arriving, colony ships dispatching rescue teams. They would find evidence of the battle, proof that humanity was no longer alone in the universe. "They'll be prepared next time," Marcus observed, watching his people respond to the crisis. "Humanity doesn't stay down long." "No," Nissa agreed, admiration in her voice. "I understand now why you fought so hard. Your species has something. Precious the ability to hope against impossible odds, to find strength in each other. A Vexter may have superior technology, but he's never understood that kind of power." As they broke atmosphere, the stars opened before them like scattered diamonds. Nissa input coordinates for a jump point, her fingers dancing over controls that seemed more like art than science. "Where shall we go first?" she asked. "I know worlds with cities carved from living crystal, oceans that sing in harmonious waves, forests where the trees themselves are sentient." Marcus settled back in his seat, still amazed by everything that had happened. A week ago, he'd been a simple scout, content with his quiet life on the frontier. Now he was heading into the galaxy with an alien princess, ready to explore wonders beyond human imagination. "Surprise me," he said, taking her hand as the jump drive engaged. "I'm ready for whatever comes next." The ship leaped forward, crossing vast distances in the blink of an eye. Behind them, Earth dwindled to a blue dot, then vanished entirely. Ahead lay the unknown alien worlds, new adventures, challenges they couldn't yet imagine. But they would face them together. A human scout and an alien princess, bound by love that transcended species. United by choices that had cost them everything and given them more than they'd ever dreamed possible. In the cargo hold, Marcus found Nisa had saved more than just their lives. Containers held samples of human culture music, art, literature, foods pieces of his world preserved for the journey ahead. Similarly, she'd brought treasures of her own people, fragments of civilizations among the stars. "We carry both worlds with us now," she explained as they sorted through their possessions. "Not as refugees, but as ambassadors. Maybe someday we can help our peoples understand each other." Marcus found an old guitar in his salvaged belongings, testing the strings. The music that emerged was simple, human, beautiful in its imperfection. Nissa listened with wonder, her alien senses perceiving harmonies he couldn't imagine. "Play for me," she requested, curling against his side as they watched strange suns wheel past the viewports. "Sing me songs of Earth." So he did, filling their ship with melodies of home while they sailed toward distant worlds. His voice mixed with the hum of alien engines, creating something new, neither fully human nor fully alien, but beautifully, perfectly their own. In the weeks that followed, they would discover the truth of Nisa's words. The galaxy held wonders beyond imagination, worlds where music took physical form, beings of pure energy who communicated through color, ancient ruins that whispered secrets of vanished civilizations. They would also find new challenges. Influence reached far, and bounty hunters would track them across star systems. But they would face each threat together, their love growing stronger with every shared danger. More importantly, they would discover that their flight from duty had become something greater, a mission to bridge the gap between species. To show that understanding could triumph over conquest, that love could flourish between even the most different beings. As their ship jumped toward the next system, Marcus and Nisa planned not just their next destination, but their future. They would explore, learn, grow together. They would create a life that honored both their worlds while belonging fully to neither. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of promise and possibility. And somewhere in that vast expanse, two hearts that had found each other against impossible odds continued beating as one. Proof that love truly could transcend any boundary, even the spaces between worlds.